Hey everybody. So I decided to go and visit Revendreth on my warrior because the architecture looks really nice, and I heard there were other things there, but it turns out that the other things weren't like the vampires that I thought that they were going to be. So I was having a really rough time trying to kill them, so I looked up ways to kill vampires, and I ended up going to the auction house. Garlic was one. Holy water was one. They didn't have any of those, but luckily they did have steaks. So when I looked up steaks, they had a bunch. I went ahead and ordered about 1,700 of them. Turns out though, when you're covered in steaks, it attracts more vampires. One of the things I really enjoy about this game is the roleplay aspect. In the Revendreth Covenant, I had to actually attend a soiree, um, but I wasn't too happy about being in line uh, waiting for the soiree because these guys weren't moving, and really I had better things to do with my time anyways. After going through the line and then getting checked in, I decided to ask a few of the guests why they don't sparkle like the rest of the famous vampires. Some of them didn't like that. So after nearly getting kicked out of the party, I go ahead and go to the Countess and I ask for forgiveness. And she's like, fine, it was pretty funny, but you still have to find the traitor's house. And I'm like, wait a sec, I was supposed to be finding the traitor's house? After going back and doing some more investigating, I come back to the conclusion that I have no idea who attacked me. I totally forgot who it was. Um, I forgot what house it was, so I just went with the house that sounded the lamest. And to be honest, sour wine was up there. So I decided to blame them. And sorry, Chancellor, but it turns out you have to die because I'm a poor investigator. So I 9k crit on her to kill her. Go back to the Countess. The Countess wants to give me her medallion. It's kind of like the key to the city. And I'm like, okay, I'll accept. And I'm like, sweet, now I have a new necklace. Turns out I can't even wear the necklace. I have to return it back to some pillar in our underground base or something like that, so I go ahead and do that. But one medallion's not good enough for him. So now I have to go and do more quests to get more medallions. Then I meet with Emil. Not Emerald, not Email. Emil. And at first I thought this dude was a loser until he one-shotted a dude. And I was like, what? I want this guy on my team, right? And he's going to give me a better belt. So we do a quick escort quest. I find it funny to see if I can play some RP, whether or not they can hear me or not. If I yell and we're stealthed, luckily they can't. I mean, uh-oh. After saving him, I have more quests to kill more vampires, which I'm okay with. At this point, I'm getting pretty comfortable with getting over my fear of vampires in this area. You kind of have to. I'm kind of like the hero now. And speaking of heroism, I found another player that was about to die fighting a vampire, so I figured I'd save her. But my services aren't free. She didn't really like that too much, so she ran. Get back here and pay! Kill some more vampires, and then I ended up meeting back up with her. Turns out she was in distress again. Even though she didn't pay, I decided to save her. Maybe if I lower the price a little bit. Turns out that also wasn't the case, and I never saw her again. There's one last vampire that I need, and he has the shard of the mirror that I'm looking for. I decide to try and trade with him. He doesn't really like that too much. Should have took the tanning lotion. After all that, I get a sweet, sweet mount. I'm already excited. Then I mount up, and then I'm like, oh, a little less than happy with it. It's basically a reskinned version of the bear, but it's just, you know, the tail and the, I don't know, there was something about it that I just didn't really like. I don't really know what it was. So then I returned back to Sinful and the underground base, and everybody's really happy to see me. To wrap it up, I ended up going to the world boss and trying to kill him. He wasn't too difficult, mostly because we had a group of like 400 people. Weird world boss, he actually fell asleep halfway through. But good news is that he dropped a choker for me. And here's a picture of the choker on my Tauren model.
What the fuck? What the fuck?